While American officials are tight-lipped tonight about the precise details, analysts are trying to figure out whether the compound in which Osama bin Laden was found was actually an ISI safe house. Former Deputy National Security Advisor Leela Ponnappa wanted to come into the debate. Go ahead, jump straight in, Ms. Ponnappa. You heard what Hamid Mir said and the argument put by Zafar Ilali. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Arnab. Finally. I think we don't need to stretch credibility too far with regard to the house where Osama lived. I think it's a very common characteristic, not just in the subcontinent, but anywhere in the world, where if you have a very large, secretive establishment, the locals are going to ask questions. So to try to suggest that nobody knew, nobody noticed, it was close to the academy, it was far from the academy, all of these are irrelevant. And I think we should recognize that it passes what the Americans would call the duck test. Having said that, I think we really need to move on to what next for Pakistan and for the United States. And there are questions to be asked of both sides. In coming days, perhaps we will get more briefing, more leaks, more background. Many in Pakistan might try to take credit for the operation. Some will try to wash their hands of it. Some will talk about how the United States violated Pakistan's sovereignty. But the fact of the matter is that the hydra-headed monster of terrorism is not yet gone. Likewise, the questions about whether Osama bin Laden felt secure where he was or not, and was there some kind of a deal? We've talked about Pakistan's track record earlier. We have seen how Pakistan has produced Al-Qaeda and other operatives for the United States from time to time. Was there a deal in the offing over here, and is it linked in some way with developments in Afghanistan? Well, here again, I think the answers are going to emerge only in coming days. And finally, there's been a lot of discussion on the show, Arnab, about whether America thanked Pakistan or not. And it really doesn't take much to go through Obama's statement to see that there were 8 references to Pakistan. 7 of them were negative, and 1 which referred to cooperation in counterterrorism was neutral.
But Hamid,
so the scenario is yet to play itself out.
I get your point, but my question to Hamid Mir is...
there are questions that have to be asked, not just of Pakistan, but also of the United States.
Right. My question to Hamid is, push to the wall, Hamid. Will Pakistan come out with a real story?
Yes, I think Pakistan must come out with the real story. I have some facts, and according to my information, very credible information, a wife of Osama bin Laden was also injured this morning. She got a bullet injury in her leg, and a daughter of Osama bin Laden, her name is Safia, 11 years old. She was also there, and both these ladies, the daughter and the wife of Osama bin Laden, they are in the custody of the Pakistani security forces. And these two ladies, they can provide a lot of information about Al-Qaeda, and they can also provide information even about Dr. Ayman al-Zawahiri, because the 2 wives of bin Laden were very close to the second wife of Dr. Ayman al-Zawahiri. So now this is a very golden chance for the Pakistan that they can
but that means get some credible information,
and they can conduct an operation against some more Al-Qaeda leaders. If they are in Pakistan, they must conduct some more operations. So I think that these 2 ladies, wife and daughter, they can provide a lot of information to the Pakistani security forces.
Hamid, nobody's been produced publicly. Rob Locker is joining us, counterterrorism expert. He's joining us from Washington. Rob, do you think the Pakistani government is now facing a bit of a credibility crisis? Ray Locker, do you think Pakistan faces a bit of a credibility crisis after this?
Oh, I think they've had one for quite some time, and it'll continue. I mean, as the previous speakers have said, you know, there are some references to Pakistan's role in this last night. Most of them were negative. I think the U.S. government for a long time has minimized, you know, what Pakistan can do for us in terms of fighting Al-Qaeda, and there was more evidence of that last night. Now that said, I think obviously somebody in Pakistan was cooperating with U.S. intelligence, or else we wouldn't have gotten this far.
Why is Pakistan, how long will Pakistan conceal this? Pakistan has to take a position, Mr. Lauka. Either it cooperated or it did not cooperate. What is happening right now is that publicly they are saying we didn't know.
Well, I think
privately they are trying to take credit.
Well, I think that's what will continue. I mean, obviously, that's the way that the Pakistani government has operated for decades now, particularly as we fight the Taliban or Al Qaeda or any other organization that's been working in that region. They do what they can, which often is not very much. They take credit when they think they can get away with it, and they try to disavow, anything that they don't like. And unfortunately, that's the price of doing business with Pakistan. I mean, they're not as forthcoming, in a lot of ways as we'd like. Certainly not as transparent as dealing with the Indian government, and that's a problem for us.
My question to my Pakistani guests tonight is, Mr. Hilali and Hamid, is there a growing realization in Pakistan tonight, that the game is up? The kind of message that Admiral Mike Mullen, who pulls no punches, the kind of message he gave when he said the ISI has a long-standing relationship, Mr. Hilali, with the Haqqani network. He said not everybody in the ISI, but it is there. And it is time that has got to change. That coupled with Hillary Clinton's statement in May last year, where she directly accused somebody in the Pakistani establishment of protecting Osama. I think Americans have lost patience. And maybe the game is up now. This cloak and dagger game in Islamabad is up now. Is that a growing feeling?
Well, let me just conclude. Let me just conclude my participation in this and say that whatever the Americans think, they are welcome to think. Pakistan will act in its own interest. Number one, the sacrifices that we have made in this war on terror, we know. You do not know. All the economic damage and harm and the condition of the people, we know. If that is not appreciated, if that is scoffed at, if that is used to beat us with, then I'm afraid that you will get even less cooperation than you think you should have.
Is that a choice Pakistan has, sir?
Let me go further and say, without Pakistan's cooperation, you will get nowhere against terrorism. And it is very sad to see that the Indians have again started they make up their minds and they argue backwards. What Pakistan has done in the war against Al-Qaeda, I repeat, Al-Qaeda, with the Taliban, we have contacts. We will maintain those contacts because those contacts are the contacts we must have if we are going to get a broad-based government in Afghanistan. So please,
Mr.
as far
Hilali,
as
1 minute.
Al-Qaeda is concerned, there is no doubt in
Mr.
our
Hilali.
minds that Al-Qaeda is unacceptable in Pakistan. As far as the Taliban is concerned, we have our own version. It differs from that of the United States, and I'm very glad it does, because if I believe that there is even a hair which binds me to my enemy, I will maintain that hair, I will massage it, because with that I can pull him or I can push him.
But the world,
and
Mr.
regardless
Hilali,
of what the
Mr.
United
Hilali,
States, and believe
Mr.
me,
Hilali,
regardless of what you in India think.
Mr. Hilali, Mr. Hilali, you have made such strong points. Now you must hear the response before you go away. The point here is this, that kind of realpolitik is being is angering the world. Please hear Mr. Parthasathi's response. 1 minute, if not mine, please hear Mr. Parthasathi's response, sir. Please, in the fitness of this debate, I want you to hear the response to that argument, Mr. Parthasathy, to Mr. Hilali, please. Please, sir, go ahead, Mr. Parthasathy.
Well, I'm glad Zafar has come up front, saying they will continue backing the Taliban. The Taliban is killing American soldiers in Afghanistan. So in effect, Zafar is saying that yes, we will back people, keep in touch with them, let them keep killing American soldiers. So on the one hand, they want to be a major non-NATO ally and get all the American goodies of money and military aid and what have you. And on the other hand, they want to help the Taliban. But I'm going to a more serious problem. They've got rid of Osama. But this is only the tip of an iceberg. If you go through the latest attacks in the United States and UK, they were carried out by Al-Qaeda affiliated groups that President Obama referred to today. They are the Lashkar-e-Taiba, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, and what is called the 303 Brigade of Ilyas Kashmiri. Ilyas Kashmiri was the guy who motivated Faisal Shehzad, who carried out the New York bombing, which failed. The London bombers were again trained by this same group.
Yeah, that's cool.
And finally, the Haqqanis